Hello there, friends. Before we jump into it, if you like what we do here on cPDH.guide, the YouTube, and you want to support us in a free way, because, you know, that's what friends do, hit that like, hit that subscribe, even share the damn thing. All right, on to the show. Welcome, everybody. Unbeknownst to you, this is take two, because Clay is an idiot.
It's funny.
It's super hilarious.
So mean.
It's the way it goes. Setting up the system again after having it down for a whole month. You know, that's the way it goes. What we have for you today, my man Russel Harder. I love saying it. You should love saying it too. Took down Common Cause number 5 yesterday with Malcolm Kedis. Phenomenal. You may recognize his name. He's been around for a little while. When we first met, he was living somewhere where they had carrier pigeons feeding the internet. So a little unstable back in the day. I remember getting a turn or two in and before he'd cut out. And
let's see here. July 2nd, 2023, I sent Clay a message saying that I'm finally living in the city with good internet.
So where we were at just a few moments ago, we were Russell was describing to me his Magic origin story. When I realized that we weren't getting any bars for Russell, we are back doing the recording.
Yeah.
So, all right, hit me with it, my man. How did you get started playing the Magics?
Okay, it started back in 2009, 2010 at a local game store in Binghamton, New York. I was playing Pokemon TCG at the time, and the owner asked us if we wanted to play a real card game. And I had not a clue what we were playing at the time. I don't even think it was Commander. I don't even think Commander existed back in 2009. I'm pretty sure. But I want to shout out to my buddy of 20 years for introducing me to Pauper. He started beating us with SER and Kelith back in the day. And I was highly focused on learning cEDH at the time versus Pauper. I don't know why, just didn't have an interest in it. And then I believe I stumbled upon the tryhards on YouTube, and then I just got into Pauper. I built what was my first Pauper deck? Dargo and Kesket was my first one that I built, and I still have it. It's up to date.
Sweet.
I do play a variety of cPDH decks. My first in-person event was at a local gaming store called Dragon Master Games in Binghamton, where I topped 8 in 3-man pods with Abdel and Agent. That was top 8, and this is my second event playing the Sanctuary series. The last one, I topped 8 with the same Abdel Adrian list that I played at my local. And then I decided to join Common Cause 5, playing Malcolm and Kedis. And back to you, Clay.
So that's a unique mixture. So Dargo Kesket, Abdel Agent, so Orzhov, and then Malcolm Kedis. So do you consider yourself a more versatile player? Like, you're not, I mean, obviously you're trying out different things. Is it for the sake of trying things out, or do you consider yourself, a jack of all trades and want to play all the things?
I feel like out of the 3 that I have, well, I also have Satyr Enchanter. I feel Dargo and Kesket isn't very consistent. And I just play tested before we got into this, and my starting 7s were terrible. But for Abdel and Malcolm and Kedis, the mulligans, they mulligan better. The reason why I picked up Malcolm and Kedis is actually because of the tier list that Common Theory did. It's they only chose 3 S tier commanders, one of them being Malcolm and Kedis. I'm like, you know what? I have experience with Malcolm. Why don't I just do that?
Because yeah,
I heard it was good. Why not? So I put the deck list together. My local LGS carries a ton of cards. I only had to order 2 of them from the internet. Sandstone Needle I had a gift from TCG Player, which just got here in time for the event.
That's pretty nice.
I play tested with my brothers in 3-man pods. I knew this event was going to be 4-man pods or close enough to it, but we didn't have a 4th person, so we tested with 3-man pods, and it changes the math on everything. 3-man pods. I don't think Malcolm and Kedis is very good in 3-man pods because of the math.
So that's interesting because number one, if there was going to be a 3-man pod, Common Cause is likely for that place to happen,
right?
Obviously, and then I think the majority of online spaces and stuff like that are kind of not using the buy system, but using the 3-person pod.
Yes, that way
system.
They eliminate buys.
So the buys are eliminated. Plus, Top Deck GG is experimenting with a system that makes draws 0 points versus 1, which our draw was 1 point for this round because they're still in experimentation for. And then because the draws would be 0 points, they're going to be forcing somewhat three player pods to eliminate the advantage that buys would give. So I would kind of warrant that your practice in 3-man pods, because that's the thing, like comparatively between a 3-person pod and a 4-person pod, which one is easier? It's the 4-person pod.
Yes, it's easier. It's way easier. You get more pings from everybody because during the Common Cause yesterday, I think we had an aggro and a mid-range deck in every pod, and along with a couple of combos. So very versatile, but the universal spread damage is huge.
Pinger meta.
Yeah, and I agree with that for sure. The universal pings.
So tell me more about this play testing with your brothers. Like, did you get in 5 games, 20 games, 100 games?
It was only 4 because of our time. Mm-hmm. It was against Gretchen, my brother, my younger one. My second youngest brother played Gretchen, and then my youngest brother, he was on Impervious, the elf that gives makes a dude and buffs other elves by +1/+1. We already knew going into that if we let him get out of hand, he was just gonna steamroll us, which he did the first game. He literally beat the crap out of us. The second and third game, Gretchen got it because I was still learning Malcolm Kedis and my math was off both games. If I had, and I was connecting with both Malcolm and Kedis having a changeling equipment on him, making him a pirate, I was missing those extra mana to finish the game off. And because I couldn't stop the Gretchen player and then I couldn't 1v1.
You were divided.
An aggro deck. Yeah, so it was hard. So Gretchen got it twice, and then I didn't win any games. None. And up until yesterday, which technically I only won 1 round because I drew, I lost, and I tied. And then I won the final 4.
That is interesting, and that's actually a really good segue. So yesterday, I tend to not get into names. If you were there, you were there, and if you know, that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
But we had a pod of people intentionally draw the second round, their second round. So each 3 people within that pod had won their first round separately, got into a pod together, and then somewhere along the line, I don't know if it was before or after, or because they went to time. So I don't know when it happened, but then there was an agreement to intentionally draw. And then in their third round, I can't remember who. I think only one of them won.
That's correct.
Yeah, so only one of the three won, and then when we made the cut to top 4, that person who won that second game made it into top 4.
That's correct.
Now you can see with what Russell just said earlier about tying the first one, winning the second one, and then what happened? What happened in your third?
Oh, tie the first, lost the second round.
Lost, and then
the
won.
Third round, I had to win. Mm-hmm. I needed to win to try to get into the finals because I was already in top 10, top 6 the whole going into round 3 because of the draw. Yeah.
And I'm not smart enough to know how all the math on the back end of Top Deck GG works, but myself and that one other person that won, we were the only 2-1 people in the pod, and then the other 2 people were 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw, and it just kind of worked out that just by virtue of what draws they had and who their opponents were, I guess that opponent win percentage really made a big difference in those things, that those people that intentionally drew earlier, the 2 that didn't win a second match, they just kind of got filtered out in the math. So
now I feel like all the games are pretty close. The second game, because you and I played in a bunch of them together.
We were in 3 together.
I was ready to win on my turn when you were going off, because I had a kill spell in hand and I should have killed your untapper. I should have, because it was an uncounterable kill spell, and I didn't do it for whatever reason, and I didn't politic to the other guys either. I'm like, hey, he's got it, guys. I know he does. Clay's gonna do it, and I didn't say anything. And I said something to you I'm like, hey, go ahead, Clay, win, and you did. So I didn't let that happen in the third round. The Azuri player, he board wiped. I'm like, you know what? We're all really scared of that Gary, so you know what? I'm gonna kill your commander with an uncounterable counterspell. Sorry, man, I got to do it. Because I had enough mana to recast Malcolm, and I had a haste enabler in hand to where it wasn't going to hurt me.
So this is a great time for this question.
Yeah.
So in your play testing and your gold fishing, so prior to the tournament, did you build up any preconceptions of hey, I need to do this, these are the hands I need to keep, that sort of stuff? Did you look at any of this?
I did exactly what the primer said to do.
Okay.
It says if you're mulling, you want to win between turn 5, which that didn't happen any game because of the pod. But it says if you have part of the pieces to the combo, you want to be able to go and get the other ones, and consistently have Malcolm and Kedis out going into at least turn 2. Which all 3 of my games, I had them both out between turns 1 and 3.
Okay, so consistency.
So I did exactly what the primer said. I did 100% net deck. I didn't make any changes. I felt that the list that this individual made was spot on. So I did actually net deck.
No shame in that.
No, during my play testing, I did exactly what the primer tells you to do.
Now, so, okay, in the play testing, taking the primer advice to heart, did you maintain that game plan once because Patton, I think, was the one that says that all plans are great until they make first contact or something to the effect of that.
I wasn't, everybody was respecting, I'm an honest player. I was, as in my third round in the stream, I was pointing out what was happening, and I was letting the table know, and my round 3 was a very good discussion of what was going on. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm gonna die to this mouse because he's been beating the crap out of me a lot. That's
that new Bloombarrow mouse.
Yeah,
that when
the
it dies,
heated hero. Yes,
when it dies, does global damage. Yeah,
and then we were worried about the Demir dude because he had a Gary in his bin, and the life totals was so low that it would have killed us. But we persuaded him to deal with the mouse. And during most of my matches, well, the last two specifically, I just waited for people to run out of answers or tap out. I had a Malcolm Breaches in both the third and the final, and the Malcolm Breaches in the third game, he ran out of mana. Azuri surrounded me. He couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
My turn. I top decked Reckless Fireweaver. I top decked it, so that was top deck of the thing. And I already had the Muddle the Mixture in hand to go and get the piece. And that's where I won the game. And the same thing with the final round. I bounced the Dargo when I needed to because he said he was going at the Malcolm and Breaches player, but he changed his mind and I decided to send Dargo my way. I'm like, no, man. no, that's not happening. Because you were going to be eliminated. I'm like, I might need Clay around. I don't know, for counter spells because I already had all mana for days. And you even mentioned it in the video. He's like, guys, he's getting it out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I just played to the table, I guess. I mean, maybe it was just beginner's luck.
Oh, I don't know. Listening to, how you come to select the list, your 4 games in prep, how you adapted, and actually watching that, of the 4 games I played yesterday, you were there for 3 of them, watching you personally, work through the list and adapt to the situations and stuff like that. There's a lot of you in this story. There's some luck,
Oh, yes, for sure.
We talked about that briefly before we started recording. There's some luck. The fact that somebody intentionally drawed, that's probably the greatest bout of luck.
That was one of them, yes, for sure. The math does work out on that one, unfortunately. It does. I'm sorry to those watching, but it's true.
So, just accept responsibility for the things you do, folks.
You're not wrong.
and then your top deck of the Reckless Fireweaver, that's a little bit of luck there too. But like by and large, you're providing the initiative, interesting mechanic that reared its head a little bit this tournament. That you're providing the
Yes.
the kinetic energy behind this thing to create those circumstances for having that luck. So and
I didn't mold the 5, the final pod.
Oh,
I did. I really did.
I should have. When you kept mulling, I should have just mulled.
And then I'm like, at the end of the thing, I'm like, Clay, did you keep a 1 lander? He's like, yep, I did. And I'm like, you know what? I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. I'm proud of you. I don't know why you did that, but hey, whatever.
Well, I had kind of pivoting off of what you said earlier about running people out of interaction. The hand that I kept would have given me a turn 4 win attempt, a turn 5 win attempt, and a turn 6 win attempt consecutively. And all I needed was 1 land.
And I believe that would have changed the Dargo's attacks because he was going all over the place. He attacked you at first because he said he was, and then he went to Kunks for whatever reason, which really didn't make any sense because Kunks was extremely behind besides you. You were 4 turns behind.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I, myself and Aaron and I, we were right on par because I had Keskit out turn 2 and Malcolm out turn 3.
I give Aaron a lot of crap for attacking me because it's just a little bit of a meme at this point.
You're not wrong.
But if I were sitting in Aaron's shoes across from me with no blockers, no resources, whatever, with the Dargo Kedis, I would have been turning 8 damage sideways at me every single turn because that's 28 damage over 4 turns. That puts everybody super low.
Oh, so that second time he went after me. So before he moved to combat, I'm like, where are you going? Punks. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do anything. Swing Dargo at Russell. I'm like, no.
Because he had 2 haste spells in that last.
Yes.
So by focusing down on me, he would have forced you to use your Ether Spell Bomb earlier, which means he would have just reset Expedite and Dragon's Breath, and
And that Aether Spell Bomb was a top deck for my first turn. I'm like, oh, well, what do you know?
Neat.
Snow Cover Island play. There you go. Change your game plan. Yep. Kedis turn 2, Malcolm turn 3. And then I rewatched the video. It came right down to it. I think I drew the Reckless Fireweaver, and I went and got the missing piece for it. And then I had to look in Kunks' hand for. I'm like, hey, I need to see if you have any counter spells. Clay don't have nothing. He's tapped out. He ain't got nothing.
Yep.
I'm not. I got 2 counter spells in hand. I can deal with you and aggro Aaron. I just need to know how many counter spells you got. And Aaron called that he's going to win the game. I did.
So with
he had the board wipe.
So with that first round, I know draws have been a hot topic this year. Outside of the big news of the intentional draw this time, but draws have been somewhat of a hot topic because we talk about 90-minute rounds and can we get it done and that kind of stuff, and some tournaments favor or have a higher degree of draws, ratio of draws relative to the other tournaments and that kind of stuff. Common Cause is one of those tournaments that has a higher percentage of draws. Without naming any names, because we don't want to put players on blast or anything like that, were there any circumstances? I mean, I was there, so if it was me, did I play too slow? Did I talk too much? I
don't think so, because I was also one player that missed triggers. I missed 2 draw triggers off of the Tangent Lookout, and I could argue that it's not a May. So we could have caused a judge to be like, but I didn't, because as soon as I mentioned it, you're like, yeah, you did. I'm like, well, I'm going to own it to it. I'm like, and then I read the card. I'm like, it doesn't say you may draw a card, but I own my mistakes. I didn't call a judge. I mean, I don't know if the 2 cards would have changed anything, but you and I got, as I was telling on the common, what is it?
Theory?
Server there. Yeah, common connoisseurs.
Common connoisseurs. Okay, yeah.
I was telling them that you and I got eliminated pretty quick in that thing, and the one player made 1 a mana mistake, and 2 he missed a trigger, which there was only 6 minutes left. Maybe kind of rushing the other guy, maybe kind of a little bit to try to speed it up a little bit. It wasn't too bad. I don't think anybody was slow playing. It was kind of a rough pod, that first one. We had a mid-range, 2 combos, and another aggro, right? I don't remember the first pod. That's kind of bad, right?
Well, the 3 people from the first pod were in the finals.
Yeah. That's funny.
All we did was swap them out for someone else.
Someone else, yeah. It was pretty cool. I definitely like this format for sure.
So, just kind of pivot a little bit, because I'm taking what you gave me here. So you said you played cPDH previously.
Yes, I do.
So and currently, okay.
I do. I have 2 decks. I have Keurig Sunny Yawgmoth, which is, I believe, the fastest monocolor deck in the format. Because of the Phyrexian, and I play Atali because I don't play blue in cPDH. I don't. I'm not a blue player. I'm known for playing black and non-blue. And I have 1 high power deck, and that's Grease Fang. It's focused on rats and cars.
So how does that's hilarious. So how does that experience? Because I talk to a lot of people about, I mean, obviously. Some of the work that I do for the format, I talk about target audience and who we're bringing in, and how they're coming to the format, how they're seeing the format, all of that. how does your cEDH experience kind of flavor your, if at all, your cPDH experience?
I don't get to play. Well, I don't. The cDH and the cPDH is the same. I don't really have time to really do anything, not even for traveling. So I finally cPDH hosts more online events versus cDH, and my local LGS does two-headed giant cDH events. They just fired off Pauper, and they do also competitive cDH events. And then I have so I live in an area of Pennsylvania where I'm an hour, 2 hours away from every major city within an hour, 2 hour drive. So I'm by a lot of players for cDH. I'm not too sure about competitive Pauper, who all lives on the East Coast, but for cEDH, I'm near a lot of them. But
you're probably a lot closer than you think.
Yeah. I enjoy cPDH a lot more. One, it's cheaper to play, for sure. I understand cDH is proxy friendly, but even the proxies are expensive. And there is a limit if you use the dual face cards to write on for 10. So that's why I choose to play the decks that I play, Keurig and Atali, because I own all the cards for both. And same be true for cPDH. But cDH, I think cPDH and competitive Pauper are kind of the same. You can win on cDH, you want to win between turns 1 and 3, but it can grind. And cPDH, you want to try to win by turn 5, which that's nuts. Look at me winning on turn 6. Or you won on turn 5.
Turn 4.
Turn 4 with infinite mana, which is just insane. Just imagine if you had, like, I don't know, a mana crypt in our format. Or Soul Ring. Probably don't even need it, obviously. But both formats, I rely heavily on my commander. Malcolm Geddes, commander. Adrian Abdel, commander-centric. Keurig, commander. Atali, commander-centric. I don't have any other ways of winning in the decks. There's no Thassa's Oracle in those colors, and same for cPDH. You're either, unless you're running like some form of Dargo thing, you're not really beating anybody's face in that time frame. Well, not within 90 minutes, and it will go to draw. And if the rules do change from going from 1 point for a draw to 0, then I feel that cPDH is going to get faster.
Really? Wow. I haven't. That's new to my brain. I'm gonna have to let it kind of bounce around in there.
And this is just coming off of the information that you gave me about how the rules might change from the draws, going from 1 point to 0. And if that's the case, then people are, well, right now, the cDH meta, from what I'm seeing online, is you just got to win. But some decks are cutting specific stacks pieces. Like, your white decks are cutting Grandest Magistrates. And then they're playing the game to where they're like, oh, I need that. So, I don't know what really made me decide to play the deck. Maybe I have experience with Malcolm. I used to play Malcolm and Dargo, but that deck is doing two different things. Can't do Malcolm stuff and Dargo stuff in that deck, but I've done it.
Yeah, that's the old. I think I'm the
Vanishing
only
Knock.
one. I think that's
Vanishing Knock combo. Yeah.
I think that's the only. I'm the only person outside of you that I think has actually played that list.
yeah, because I added in the Vanishing Knock combo, and it's not fun. So, I do want to. I am working on another list, but I don't want to get too sidetracked with that. So.
No, I do find it interesting because I too, I've been playing Magic a long time as well. I was a standard grinder, a modern grinder, even got into limited for a brief amount of time. Was playing a lot of competitive EDH on the east or the west coast rather, like 2000, like 11, 12, 13, 14. Those times. And when I finally got into the modern cEDH era, that was actually the genesis of the Tryhards channel and all of that. We were a cEDH channel, and I don't know. I made the jump naturally over to cPDH because, well, it wasn't so natural. The politics, and I think you might be able to agree with this, the politics of cEDH can be somewhat abrasive.
Yeah, it's getting, lately for cDH, the politicking has gotten really bad, like incredibly bad, to where people are getting, like, it's to the point to where there's a rule now in some events to where you can tell somebody to stop talking.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same for cPDH. I think it is. You can ask people not to talk.
It's part of the top deck rules. Yep.
Yeah. So that's when you know things are getting really bad. And I only politic when I need to, and I'm honest about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like in the one game that we had, they're like, "Oh, he's popping off." I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Mm-hmm.
You can ask whoever just looked at my hand. I don't have anything. I'm doing what I need to do to progress my board state, because I want the game has eventually got to end, but I'm not going to stop doing what I need to do because this guy over here is doing what he needs to do. But you saying that, "Oh, he's popping off," I'm like, no, I'm really not. I might go get something to win the game or try to win the game, but yeah. I only talk when I need to talk, and I try to make sure everybody else is doing the same. That way, 90 minutes isn't a long time. It's really not. Look how fast it went. We started at 90 minutes, and the next thing we know it, in the first round, time was up. What happened?
A lot of things can happen. I have seen 28 turns in 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can
I believe it.
You can move through, the progression of turns in a relative quick fashion if you needed to. Yeah. So yeah. No, I always find, honestly, I wish we had a cloning device. I'd make 50 of you, and you sound exactly like the type of player that I get excited about seeing out in the ecosystem, as it were. Not all of our cPDH players. I mean, they're all nice people. Don't get me wrong, but not all of them are as thoughtful, considerate, funny.
I agree with that. I don't think there's anybody that's really that bad in this format, to be honest. They're not very salty. They don't get angry. I don't think so. I don't really have that much experience playing because this is only my third event, but I think I'll agree with that for sure.
So hopefully,
and it's just a game.
Hopefully we just keep it that way. Hopefully.
It could get worse when there's more money on the line when you start playing in 1Ks and stuff, but I mean, we're almost there. Yesterday's payout was $330.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
That.
I'm glad you brought that up. It is important to note everyone in the top 4 donated their winnings back to the tournament.
Sure did.
Chris's next Common Cause 6, will be the 1-year anniversary of his events.
So excited.
So it's all going to go back in. It's all going to be bigger. Whatever the total is. So yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. Yeah.
So in the end, I'm just getting a bunch of cards and a playmat, and in the end, it went towards a good cause. So it was a charitable event, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Extra life. I'm all for that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So the future. So now that you got a little bit of mileage under your belt for Malcolm Kedis, Is this something that you're going to stick with?
Actually, I was thinking about playing Val and Agent of the Shadow Thieves in the Sanctuary.
Ooh, Tony Baloney would be super.
I did mention that in the lobby yesterday, but I'm working on a different list. I call my list Happy Birthday. I cut some things in it, and I added more proliferate stuff. Because when I was playing 60 card Pauper, I used to play Poison Storm.
Mm.
And the idea is once Val is on the field for this deck, is that you can't do anything with your hand. So if I use, well, you can't use the mana from her for anything in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why there's certain cards in there like opt and stuff, but I took it out for like contingency plan and experimental augury, so I can pump her +1/+1 counters to go faster. Because the background automatically gives you your +1/+1 counter. Because somebody in the pod
is going to be the highest life,
no matter what.
Yeah.
So she automatically is going to be a 4 in the back end, right? 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with some of the peripherate stuff, and she's going to automatically be a 6. Because a lot of the things that feed into are 8 mana or 6 mana, and then you can filter it into color mana and make infinite mana. When I was playtesting on turn 6, I went off on turn 6 in the Mox field because I drew into the untapper thing where you can untap, and I had the a prize statue in hand to make the filter the mana.
Free from the real prize statue.
It was the
or Graph Mage.
Untapper, Graph Mage. Wait, was it Graph Mage? Yeah, the Untapper. Yeah, untap target creature with a +1/+1 counter. Yeah,
personal.
That's what it was.
Personal favorite of mine.
Yeah. So, I'm definitely gonna play Malcolm for sure, but I want to experiment with more stuff because I listened to the prep talk for the Common 5 podcast, and they want more people to pick up more underrated decks. Like in Common Cause 4, there was a deck that hasn't surfaced at all, and that was Loyal Apprentice or something like that.
Loyal Subordinate. There is Loyal Apprentice, but that's red. Loyal Subordinate is
Lorehold Apprentice. Yes, that's the one. And I'm a guy that likes to play with underrated stuff a little bit, even though I just won an event with Malcolm Geddes, but I was the only one playing Malcolm Geddes. You were only one on Weavers. There was 3 Malcolm Breaches, and there was a ton of Abdel, maybe 2 or 3 Abdels, I believe.
There's 2 Abdels, 1 Dargo Casket, or Kedis, rather. There was a Dalek. I really didn't get to see a lot of the field. In fact, I've yet to go through and siphon the data to add it to the back end of .guide yet, so I don't know the complete breakdowns. But I don't know. It feels like that there was the requisite 40% unknowns that showed up.
Yep. I have a deck list put together. Actually, I like what the deck does.
Oh,
but it doesn't work in you need to have it in I think it works optimally fully in a 4-man pod, but it did well in a 3-man pod. But I think in a 4-man pod it does way better because you get the extra body, for sure. I have one put together. It's right here.
There was what was the name of that frog? It's a new frog from like Bloomborough, I think. There's 2 people that were playing that, and it was I think it was a Flicker. I think it was a Flicker deck.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I can pull it up real quick.
I played against one of them in my 3rd round, but that was also I was first in the pod, so technically it was turn 4, but it was still turn 3 for everybody else. so I didn't get to see what it did.
Lily Splash Mentor.
Yeah.
Exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield on its own Shakula with a +1/+1. Activate only as a sorcery, and it's 1 generic and 2 simic, and it has reach, and it's pretty big. It's a 4/4.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. There's not a lot of kill spells in our format that can kill it, except for -1 minus counters. So that's a big booty.
Scred, despise, yada yada yada.
Yep.
Oh, despise is the discard, isn't it?
I believe so.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Vendetta. There you go. Yeah. Right on. So, so you're unsure if you're going to play or what you're going to play in Sanctuary. Sanctuary, the one we're talking about.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Val if I can get it together.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Val. Highly positive. In Sanctuary. And then I'm trying to get a lot of people to come to the Popper event at my local LGS on 11/23 at Dragon Master Games in Binghamton. It is the weekend before, I believe it's the weekend before Thanksgiving, or the week before. Yep, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving, November 23rd.
That reminds me, I've been meaning to reach out to those folks.
Yeah.
See,
they're not using the top deck yet.
Mm-hmm.
They use more of their in-house program, but it works, and they give out prize support and mostly store credit, and their card selection is just huge.
Well, if I can get a list and maybe something that if you're willing to do some groundwork for me all I need is like the pairings and the commanders, and I can take it from there.
Yeah, it was just something that you would have to definitely reach out to the owners. Probably one of the best stores in the New York State area by far, upstate New York.
Sweet.
Hands down. They have any card you can possibly ask for, and it's, you can look at it online too. It's a great store, and they can hold like 200 plus people.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it's an amazing store.
Hey, Fargo people, step it up.
That's funny. Yeah. I'm really excited. I told the missus yesterday after I turned around after winning the game, I'm like, I won. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, I won the entire event. She's like, again. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I'm really excited. You and I we play each other in a lot of events. We really do. I finally got to play against no, I didn't play against Gator. I got to play against Kongs. Pretty much everybody from the Common Theory I played yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever else I play on Discord. And I don't really play a lot because, I just don't.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, the work that I do, I mean, I'm supposed to be working 10-hour shifts, but I usually work 8 or 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do, kind of try not to go off topic, but
I feel you. I'm in for 9.5 every day. So plus with all this renovation stuff that we've been doing the last month or so, I just hadn't had any time. My prep for this tournament was I'm actually working on an aggro deck, and I spent the last month developing that mathematically, statistically, putting the cards together, blah blah blah. And then on Friday I got a few hands with the Weavers, and then Saturday morning I got a few hands with the Weavers, and that was it.
Yeah, I agree with the Weavers for sure. For the being one of the best decks in the format, honestly, because you got the win in the command zone. I just like going fast because I play Keurig and cDH, as we've been talking about, and Malcolm and Kedis is pretty quick. And Kunk said in our last match, he's like, I was way behind Russell when it came to treasures in almost the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I was swinging with Malcolm, I believe, on turn 4, connecting, because I had Kedis out, and I was just pretty much poking Aaron because I believe that was the way to go, poke Aaron. I don't know why I attacked you in the last in the last turn 6. I guess it didn't matter, but I probably should have definitely continued my assault on Aaron.
Well, he was doing global damage to everybody,
Yes.
and it was just, I mean, the life totals were there. So you were basically the only one that was contributing to life lost for him. So made sense. Definitely made sense.
Yeah, I mean, you were 4 turns behind. Kunks was behind, so I might as well poke him because him and I were neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
Where we made all of our land drops and everything together. So him and I were just racing.
Yeah.
I just happened to have the bounce spell.
The turn you won. So this is the reason why I kept the hand. The turn you won, had you not won on that turn or someone interacted with you or something like that, all I had to do was untap.
Yep. I saw that. And I had one other counter spell in hand just in case. I had the Arcane Denial. Because Kunks was out of mana at that point, and I believe you were tapped out as well.
Yeah, because I had to develop, so.
Yeah, but I don't know the list too well to know what all counter spells they run, and I know in blue there's only 2. In blue.
In blue that you're running?
Yeah, there's foil and daze. They're free.
Oh, that are free, yeah.
Yeah, that are free. And red and black has their own free counter spells, but at a cost, but that's fine. It makes sense. We don't have access to Force of Will or anything like that, so.
Thank God.
It's probably a good thing. Could you imagine if Mystic Remora or a Ristic Study was legal in the format?
I used to play in the format when those were legal.
That must have been something, especially Mystic Remora.
I don't have to imagine. I was there.
He's like, no. They can stay where they are.
Well, what's interesting about those 2 cards, since we've segued so far, I was actually my invitation to the rules committee was predicated on research for those 2 cards. The rules committee, the then rules committee, was looking for competitive input, so they invited a number of us. So that's, if it weren't for those 2 cards, I wouldn't be serving as I do at the leisure, or the pleasure rather, of the player base for the format. So,
and I appreciate all that you do. And I said the same thing to Chris yesterday. If you guys didn't have this, I'd be waiting for the next in-person event in sanctuaries.
And we're constantly shopping around to see who be willing to offer more online stuff, because I know we're having them at a cadence of 1 every other month. But could be 1 every month or 1 every 3 weeks, or we could increase that a little bit.
I like to see cPDH get up there with CDH, where they start doing their monthly thing in person.
Mm-hmm.
Do their whole top deck tier thing that they're doing, where everybody gets invited to the invitational. Now that I actually am getting my name out there, because this whole idea, I've invested into this game, and now I'm finally starting to gain back from it. Whether it's winning or interacting with the brilliant minds of this format, which is amazing.
Well, we'll have to get you out, because we have a singular 1K right now. It's hosted by RIW Games in Livonia, Michigan, and we just had it in July. It was in May the previous year, so we've only had 2, and it's a phenomenal time. So, yeah, if we can,
definitely have to get out there. I do have a newborn on the way, so we're seeing. Yeah, he'll probably be coming too, or she. I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. It's a family event, a family affair, as it were.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we've got Malcolm Kettis in the bag. We've got I forget Lav. No, what's the one that you were talking about playing? If you could get it together.
Oh, Val. And
I always
Val.
forget Val. So we got Val potentially on the horizon. Any other things that you're working on?
I do really want I just actually started playtesting Dargo and Cascade again because they say it's the fastest deck in the format, according to the primer, but I need more playtesting with it. I'm not trying to argue with the creator of it.
If you get the right number of cards.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I might play that in the in-person event up in my LGS for sure.
I happen to think that Malcolm Roger is probably the fastest consistent.
I was going to build that. I really was until I saw the tier list because of where it was ranked. You know what I mean? Because I do like the whole universal damage thing. I do like it. I definitely strongly agree with universal damage for sure. And that's why I decided to go with Malcolm and Kedis.
And it paid off.
It sure did. Not wrong.
In playmats, and what else did you get? Or what else is coming to you? Cards?
A bunch of cards. Yeah, I'm going to put those in a binder, and I'm not going to do anything with them.
Oh.
And my one buddy told me to frame the playmat.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything with the cards. My buddy said, hey, why don't you just play the cards? I'm like, no, I think I'm just going to put them in a binder and just let them stay there for my way of reminding me that I won these cards.
that you did a thing. Hell yeah.
Why not?
Oh,
Sounds good.
The one tournament I won, I got the cash. It has since all been gone. I did it on Fun Things, so yeah. I didn't get any cool cards to display on now that I have new wall space,
Yeah, it looks like you're expanding there, which is nice. We got to look for a house too because we don't have enough room in our current apartment for the baby. So we definitely want a house, but unfortunately, we do want to live back out in the sticks. But with better internet. Otherwise, this ain't happening. I had horrible internet out where we were. Terrible.
Oh,
it was bad. Where'd you go? I'm not coming back. I'm sorry.
What was it, like HughesNet or something like that?
Oh, it was terrible. It was HughesNet. Oh yeah, it's bad. It runs off of data, and everything runs on the internet, and it just eats it away. And this, I'm not trying to bash them or anything, but they literally want you to spend money. You can easily spend $1,000 on data for this. Easily.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I was raised in New York State where the internet is really good, but even in the sticks in New York State, you had good internet. But the sticks in Pennsylvania, some of it is really bad.
Isn't there a huge Amish community?
Yes, down in the Lancaster area, yeah. Also, there's in the Mifflinburg area too. They're pretty big.
Not that I'm attempting to blame the Amish, but I mean, if I did blame the Amish, what are they going to do? See this?
No, not really.
Right on, man. Well, we are just short of an hour. Is there anything that you want to ruminate on or offer up? What are your impressions of the meta as it stands? Do you think we're healthy? Do you think we need improvement? Yada, yada, yada.
I think that I want to say, honestly, I think it's pretty healthy. I really do. There's not one deck consistently winning events like in cDH where you have everybody's just playing Blue Farm. Everybody's not just playing Roxai, Nadu, Kinnan. It's a variety of players, which is a healthy meta. It really is. And if you went on the website for Common Cause, you can see that there's a different winning deck for each of the events, and same with Sanctuary. Well, maybe not Sanctuary because I believe Gretchen has won most events for Sanctuary outside of Weavers.
It's been a blend.
Is it a toss up?
Yeah, it's been a blend for. Yeah, I mean, there are now. If you expand that to top 4 performances and stuff like that, then we start to get more of an abundance. Gretchen starts to stand out a little bit more there, but I mean, to that end, I tend to agree with you on terms of deck diversity, that there is a wide offering of, decks that are winning these events.
For sure.
Some people would suggest that there's a higher degree of combo winning. I don't know exactly what rate, but a higher degree. So we can't tell if that's a observable feel bads kind of scenario or not. But
truthfully, I really like cPDH. I really do. Mm-hmm. And I think I've said it multiple times. I personally enjoy it.
You really get at it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess I am.
Accept it. You're in the pantheon of gods now.
Oh man, I'm worried.
Now there's going to be this expectation that you show up for the next one, defend your title, all of that stuff.
I'll be there for sure, and I really don't want to become that person where I just get a target painted on me because I won an event. I just want people to still play responsibly, read the board state. Don't try to gain up on somebody because this person is a good player and they've won an event. Just play responsibly. It is a game.
I would say that doesn't happen, but it definitely does happen.
I believe during one round in the event, there was one where the person felt like he was dramatically hated on. I think. I didn't see it, but there was a strong argument of that. Didn't see it because during the breaks I was doing other things, stretching my legs and my butt.
Because that's what old men do.
Even though I do drive for a living, so here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
But I enjoyed this thoroughly. Looking forward to more. And now that my name is out there, Russel Harder, you can put anything in the middle. It sounds cool.
Yep. At the beginning, at the end, in the middle.
It's all good. Yeah. It's all good. the best name on the planet by far. And I'm a junior, so I'm the second one. So props go to Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's a fight to the death on which one's better.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, Father, he doesn't understand cards. He does. We don't want none of that. Well, I get picked on enough by him.
I tell you what, Ben, this has been an absolute pleasure for me. You're a really cool guy, super down to earth, have a real good grasp of expectations. Don't really, sell yourself too much or sell yourself too short. You're just like right there. I appreciate it. Like, this has been super fun.
One weakness I have is I have a really big heart, and sometimes even in the game, I have a really big heart, and sometimes it comes to bite me in the butt.
Sometimes it didn't.
Sometimes.
It didn't yesterday.
No,
and I got to see 3 of them. In fact, that's part of the things that was making me laugh. Somebody would do something like cast a spell, proud of you, or good for you, or something.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, just
when I'm playing blue, I'm like, hey, I'm playing blue. Yeah. I have untapped mana. I'll allow it. Yeah. You're welcome. We can all be fun here.
Good job. You did a good.
Yeah.
You did a good thing.
And then it's funny. Why not?
So Russell is going to drop. In fact, he already did. I just can't click on it because it'll change the view and all that stuff.
Right.
He's going to give me his whatever socials, his mock fields, his his stuffs, his junks, his things. I'll add that in the description of this video. We'll also have a link to his list that he played. And man, this has been absolutely wonderful. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a great time. I believe I have one more interview coming up with Common Theory, so that's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
I don't know if any more is coming up. I haven't heard anything, so looking forward to more. Come join us.
As per tradition, Islane will probably reach out to you as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, that should be 2 more, so 3 total.
I'm still working with Papa get my deck list up. There was a little bit hiccups along the way, so I gotta fix that.
And he hasn't been streaming lately, but I'm pretty sure if he's able to get his machine up and running here shortly, you might even see something from him.
I do miss that, by the way. Yeah, everybody, all the cPDH content is kind of down because of personal life. Which life happens, comes first. Here we are.
It's summertime, bro.
You're not wrong. Winter time's coming.
It is.
Yesterday was a perfect day for playing. It was nothing but rain here in central Pennsylvania.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, brother man. I salute you. Thanks for the games yesterday. I had a tremendous time.
Oh, yeah. It was good.
So until the next time, folks, we'll see you later.
See you later.